All the old, obsolete, dinosaur Democrats and young idiots are pushing climate propaganda, including Joe Biden, the same pro-science people who believe in transgenderism and killing babies and homosexuality. Homeless and illegal alien sanctuary state California is pretending they care about public health. But one good thing, I guess, sort of, not really. They're lifting the commie virus stay-home orders, loosening their tight grip. Making you less miserable now that Trump is out of office. They try to make everybody miserable while he was in office. This is the end of Hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Thursday, January 28th, 2021. Stay tuned for Hour 2. Jesse Lee Peterson will be right back. But first, Hake news, not fake news. Taking on climate change, quote unquote. The extreme left female-run outlet The Skim claims, without evidence, that a record number of wildfires and hurricanes in the U.S. were fueled in large part by rising temperatures last year. Money-grubbing liberal scientists, organizations, and that Swedish teenager Greta Thunberg have called on so-called world leaders to act. Sleazy Joe Biden signed executive orders calling it an existential threat. Climate change, that is. His orders want to conserve at least 30% of U.S. lands and waters by 2030, clamping down on oil and gas leases on our land and water, public land and water. And he pushed a buzzword called clean energy. He pushed for well-paying union jobs to make zero-emissions vehicles and an imaginary thing called environmental justice. Can you believe it? He called for leadership on his female director of national intelligence, DNI, Avril Haines, an unchristian Obama holdover, to investigate how climate change can pose a national security threat, and directed U.S. climate envoy John Kerry, the wooden John Kerry, failed presidential candidate, just like Al Gore, inconvenient truths, right? To come up with ideas to fight climate change at the global level. Sleepy Joe Biden will host a climate summit with quote-unquote world leaders on Earth Day, April 22nd, and will oppress businesses and voluntarily steal citizens' money to redistribute back to the Paris Climate Accord. Biden already killed thousands of jobs by stopping the Keystone Pipeline, yet Biden and anti-American big businesses pretend that it's an investment in the economy, all this climate nonsense, right? Outright lying for their own gain. Almost two-thirds of suckers around the world, 64%, see climate change as a global emergency because you told them so, right? The U.S. is the world's second largest emitter of greenhouse gases. Did you know? But that's a joke because America is the third largest landmass behind Russia and Canada, and the third most populous country in the world behind China and India, I hear. So per square mile, per capita, we're not the biggest offenders. If CO2 is even offensive, right? And speaking of fake science, California faces backlash for lifting its stay-at-home order. No, we want to stay oppressed, is what the liberal women say. Drudge and The Guardian report, citing projections that hospital capacity would improve in coming weeks, the beta governor, Gavin Newsom announced Monday that he was rescinding the statewide shutdown order. Have we not learned anything? Said this female, Marcia Santini, a nurse with UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles Medical Center. She was infected and hospitalized with COVID last month. A fireman doesn't put out half the fire and hope that the rest goes out on its own. Our numbers will shoot back up again, and we'll just keep infecting each other, that woman says. Intensive care unit capacity is on track to be above 15% in about 4 weeks, which is a good thing, I guess. COVID-19 hospitalizations began to fall about 2.5 weeks ago, according to the LA Times, although suspicious timing because this Gavin Newsom guy is possibly going to be recalled as governor. There's this big petition, 1.5 million signatures, I hear. There is fear-mongering about local healthcare systems pushed to the brink of collapse. The funeral industry facing horrifying backlog of thousands of corpses. But outdoor dining and stuff starting Friday, hopefully, here in LA County. I'm James Hake. Now on to Jesse, Hour 2.